We
All righty.
are back.
Woohoo!
We are back.
How about that? Hey, if you don't believe the climb is real, look at it.
Yes, and indeed, the Florida State Seminoles start 4-0 for the first time in God knows when. From 0-4 last season to 4-0 this season. That is, no matter who you say, no matter what you say, no matter who we play, that's still a hell of a turnaround, and that's there's some difference happening in this team. You know, this team isn't going to go undefeated. But that's one way to make an impact on the program, and it's definitely there's something different about this team. So, but with that, we are Seminoles Sideline 365. This is our instant reaction to the Seminoles win tonight. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and like the YouTube video you're watching right now. We appreciate that. If you haven't already followed the channel, give us a subscription. We appreciate that. But with that, let's go right into it. Final score. If you tuned out there towards the end because it was a blowout, you tuned on another game. 44-14. Florida State dominates all phases of the game tonight, holding Boston College's starting quarterback Phil Jurkovic to just 105 yards total passing, with 2 interceptions and just 1 touchdown. Let's start off from the top. We'll go quarter by quarter and give a brief analysis on our thoughts on it. But overall, what were your overall thoughts of the game and the game plan and how Florida State did tonight?
Well, first of all, I had to wear my celebratory glasses. Okay, these are my new celebratory glasses, KB, and I hope to be wearing them a lot this season. My thoughts are I got to be honest. It's great to win. Trust me. This is like back in the old days. Some of our fans may not remember the old days. Well, I clearly do. Where we went into every game feeling we're going to win the game. Yeah. We're going to win the game. That feeling has started to creep back for me, at least. For the new fans, they don't really know that feeling of coming and going. But I thought the game was a little boring. But I like a boring game when we're on top and we've got a big margin of victory. Yeah. I like to be bored. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm not a neutral fan. I'm a committed fan to this program and have been since the 60s. So the boring game is good for me. So I thought they played exceptional. They looked like a top 20 team for sure tonight. Now the question is, and this is the question, you said it before, you kind of laughed a little bit there, but it was a boring game from a football standpoint. A lot of the fans started to leave in the third quarter because they want to beat the hell out of the traffic in Tallahassee.
That's how you got home so quickly.
Damn sure. I damn sure did. But from that aspect. But the Seminoles were clicking on all cylinders from the first play of the game, right?
Absolutely.
The first play of the game, the kick return by Trey Benson,
which was great. I mean, I can't remember the last time. Like, I can't remember the last time we had a kick return on a kickoff, much less on any type of kickoff. Not albeit just to start the game, but Kermit Whitfield's is always the one that we remember in the national championship. But, I mean, we've been pretty poor at returning kicks of all kinds, and to see I don't remember Trey being back there the first 3 games.
I don't either.
Returning kicks, so I think it was an adjustment that Coach Papachuas made a change back there and put him back there because, as you heard the announcer saying, as Mike Norvell said a lot, Trey is one of the best athletes on the team. He may be one of the quickest, even though he's built like a house. And you saw it on display. He broke 3 or 4 tackles on that kick return and brought it all the way to the house. I did not think he had that ability, but he proved me wrong tonight. So that was amazing.
Yeah, he kept running the ball even into the third and maybe the fourth, maybe a little bit of the fourth. He was still running with great power and knocking people down. Yeah. I mean, and his speed on that kickoff showed his breakaway speed. I mean, he went the 100 yards full out and they had a hard time even getting close to him.
But he broke, and that's the thing. It's not like he had a clear lane. It's just running down the sideline. He broke 2 or 3 tackles. He made his own lanes there and stiff-armed the guy at the end to carry him into the end zone. So.
He probably put enough on tape just tonight to get people to look at him a lot more.
Yeah, he's like we kind of said before preseason, from the spring game on, that I think he can be a special player if he sticks around and develops. But he's a special player if he's healthy. But let's go right into it.
Yeah.
We're talking about the first quarter now.
Yeah,
like you said, the team. That's the hottest I think we've started in a while, no matter the opponent. I don't care if we're playing FCS school. I don't care if we're playing Boston College, but that's the hottest I think I've seen us start. 21 points in the first quarter. You talked about the kickoff, and then you have a couple of more scoring drives there. It could have been 24 points, but the clock ran out. It could have been 28 points, but that clock's run out there. I think they dominated that first quarter, and that kind of set the tone for the rest of the game and kind of just put it out of you kind of just killed Boston College spirit very quickly. And that's what you need to do to be, if you want to say Florida State's back and you're getting that process, going through that process of we're back or we're good to great team. This is what good or great teams do. They destroy lower caliber competition. And that is what Florida State did tonight. Is they came out the door at home and just broke Boston College's will. And from that point forward, both on offense and defense, you saw Jerkovic, he had no confidence in his offensive line. He had no confidence throwing the ball tonight. And it showed up all the way through until they pulled him in the fourth. That defense got to him, and they weren't sacking him all the time, but they were applying enough pressure, and our defensive backs were covering, as well as our linebackers were covering Zay Flowers as best as they could. But that guy never got comfortable. So it was a combination of just the offense and the defense setting the tone so early in this game that I feel like you broke their will early on, and then it just built from there. So, and like I said, that first quarter, I think was one of the most special ones we've had in a while, where you just set the tone early. Usually, I feel like we struggle early on in the game, and it's just that battle in the second half. But I thought it was great the way they came out tonight. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the game was over after the first three possessions that Florida State had. I mean, the first possession is a kick return for a touchdown. Our second possession is a Telefili touchdown. And then we had another touchdown by Benson on the third possession. Yeah. BC's first 3 possessions, interception, punt, and a punt. So at that point, the game's 21-0, and it's pretty much over at that point because this is not one of the higher caliber teams we're going to face. Yeah. Now, the preseason for Florida State is pretty much over, except for the LSU game, perhaps. But the preseason is now over. Now it's big boy football. Okay. And don't take that wrong. I'm happy to have B4-0. I'm very happy, but I don't think we can still use the term we're back, because we will be able to say we're back after we look at the next 4 games and how this team holds up against the next 4 teams that we're going to face.
Yeah. First quarter, like you said, I think there was a lot of tone-setting plays in that. Like you said, you were able to establish the run. Trey running hard, had that 15-yard score. And then you had a couple of great passes by Jordan Travis. He finds Cam McDonald a couple of times, which I think is always good to see when we're utilizing our tight ends up the seams, up the middle, and Cam catching those balls, which was good from the bounce back from last week when he dropped a couple. So it was good to see that. It was good to see the ball being thrown out. And I think with that, I don't know if Travis for Heisman yet, but it was good to see that once again, that he was able to get in rhythm passing, but also going past the first quarter, he was able to stay healthy. He once again we weren't forcing him into these running direct run plays. He was able, the offensive line kept him upright for the most part. There was a couple of scramble runs there. I forget if it was the first or second quarter. We had that kind of scramble run. I think it was the second quarter where he had to run for 15, 16 yards there. But for the most part, he was able to stay upright, which was good. If you were going to start him tonight, you had to trust that your offensive line could keep him upright and make sure that you weren't going to further agitate that leg injury. And I think, for the most part, they did that. What surprised me the most starting in the first quarter was the play of, and someone I think we talked about in the preseason, because we saw glimpses of him last year, was Darion Williamson. He played unbelievable. He was making the plays that Johnny made last week. Just big catches, big plays, showed a lot of his speed. And this, once again, this is one of those big guys that big receivers that you don't necessarily hear about a lot, but has the potential to make big plays. And he was the star receiver. And it seems like every single week we're starting to see a new guy step up. And I think that was because of an adjustment that Boston College, they said, we're not going to let Johnny Wilson beat us. They were kind of, you saw it in some of the, when they went higher on the camera angle, they were shading over to Johnny's side, two, sometimes three guys in terms of protecting that side. And they weren't going to let him bust coverage or get a solo shot on the guy, which was smart. But then you had someone like Williamson kind of break out again tonight, which is great to see guys, these deeper guys on the roster, get a chance to start and Jordan to find them. So I think that was the biggest takeaway for me in the first quarter.
Yeah, I think the other thing in the first quarter caught my attention, I agree with everything you said, was on our fourth possession. We were around don't pinpoint me on it, but we were down around the 35-yard line, somewhere in that range. It's 4th and 3. This is the first fourth down, and we decide to go for it. We're up 21 points, and I was wondering what Coach Mike was going to do.
Yeah.
And he decided to go for the 4th and 3, and I believe he got it on that possession. I believe he got it on that possession, or they went for a field goal. I'm sorry. They kicked the field goal. I think they kicked he called timeout. He called timeout.
That's when they switched to the second quarter.
The quarter ended, but he was going to go for the 4th and 3.
Yeah, they tried to hurry
offense.
They tried to hurry up.
Yeah, and then he turned around, he decided, and Ryan Fitzpatrick went out there and hit about a 30-yarder, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that. He got a good kick in there. So I thought that was very interesting. And then in the second quarter, now we're moving into the second quarter possessions. We get the ball, and there's another then we get another possession, and it's 4th down again, I believe, and we don't try to make the field goal. Is that how it went down? Here's the bottom line.
There was in the second quarter, there was twice we didn't convert 4th downs, I believe.
And they were in, I believe, should be the kicker range.
It was like 45, 50.
Yeah. But I thought Mike was hesitant, and we'll talk more about that later.
He had every right to be hesitant. Did you see the extra points were barely going in?
Well, I know. Quarter. We'll go through that, but those plays, that type of decision making stood out to me in the second quarter. Everything else was clicking. I mean, the young receivers, the receiver room looked brilliant. I don't care who was playing receiver.
Yeah. I think
that it was unbelievable. These guys were making every catch. McDonald had a big night.
Yeah, he dropped.
Johnny Wilson only had 2 catches, and that's okay. Malik McLean was in there. Darion Williamson was in there catching the ball. Micaiah was Pittman. They're all in there. The only guys they didn't see in the game was Keyshawn Hilton, and I saw Deuce Spann at the end of cleanup duty.
Subbed in there at the end.
So I don't understand why Keyshawn Hilton. Did you even see him on the field?
No, I don't know. I honestly, I don't know what's going on with Keyshawn.
But he's there as a teammate. I see him laughing.
So
maybe he's got some injury that we're unaware of.
But I would hope that someone asks Coach what's going on with Keyshawn, because he used to be a weapon in his offense, and now he's just been relegated to not even seeing cleanup duty now. So I don't know.
And then to finalize the second quarter on the 7th, we had our 7th possession of the half. A touchdown to Kentron,
I think that play was important, because up until that point, we had only had that field goal that was set up right before the first quarter, and it was concerning to me. And I think at some point I tweeted it out, was that the offense started to stall a little bit, and I think, and I don't know exactly what adjustments BC was making, but it looked like we were starting to stall in terms of we weren't running the ball as effectively as we were in the first quarter. Our run blocking looked a little bit more suspect. And then our passing, we were trying to run the ball a lot more, and the play calling got a little bit more predictable. And we weren't pushing the ball down. And we had a couple fourth downs not convert, and then we weren't scoring. And then finally, right before the half, we had, I think it was 1 minute and 1 minute left. We drive the ball down, and that beautiful ball to Kentron. He goes up and gets it. Great play by him. Once again, the big guy, another big receiver going up and catching the ball, converting on it. We score. So it was great to see that right before halftime, because I think we just needed that to show that we could continue scoring points and continue that momentum through the first half. Not to say that this game was going to be a slugfest, but you don't want to see, kind of you would shut out in the quarter when you have so much of a hold on this game. So that was a great play by Kentron. It's great to see these younger receivers stepping up like that, and Travis putting the ball where it needs to be for them to convert.
Well, I think it was exciting to see the receivers in that receiver room starting to develop. These guys are pretty good sized bodies, all of these guys, and they can run. When you have Kentron, you have Darion Williamson, you have Malik McLean. Already in the stable with Johnny Wilson and these guys, it's really exciting when they go out and they're finding openings now. I don't remember seeing that in past seasons. They had no separation. So that's exciting. Yeah. And so it's 31-0 at halftime.
Yeah. So 31-0 at halftime, which is great. Which is great. So then we go into the third quarter. And more or less the same. The one thing, BC does score in this quarter. You don't get the shutout, but that's more or less just kind of one of those cosmetic things. It's hard to get shutouts in college football. It's just, you have to be super dominant. But like I said before, you hold Phil Jerkovich, starting quarterback for BC, to 105 passing yards. So in that case, it almost feels like more or less a shutout in that regard, because you totally took him out of this game. But they get that, and then you come back. You come back and you have the chance to drive the ball, get to there. I believe there.
And let me add something to that first half. Like you just said, they took a veteran quarterback, Jerkovich. Now he doesn't have the team surrounding he's had in the last few seasons. He's like a fifth-year senior, this guy. Yeah. So he's been around, but he, as you said, he was very frustrated. The FSU defense looked like one of the defenses of the dynasty days. They really looked good.
I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, they did. They looked very solid tonight. I would say that. And they were missing some guys. Fabian Lovett's still out. I don't know if we know what his injury is. I don't think that one's been really kept under the rug. I saw him on a crutch tonight on the sidelines. So we hope to have him back sometime soon.
And Jared Verse was out.
Jared Verse, of course, in street clothes. And then at some point Cooper got hurt. So you were losing bodies too, but you're able, like you said, it wasn't like, I don't think we had a ton of sacks tonight, but you were able to get a lot of pressure on him in the first half. And they do have some speedy backs on the team, but players like Deloach, once again, in terms of tracking, they're trying to spread the ball out and get sideline with you. But guys like Deloach were so great at tracking the guys in the backfield, tracking Zay Flowers, that they did an end-around type play. And our speed really did show off tonight, like you said, which was great to see. So then in the second half, like I said, BC does get a score. The freshman running back scores on us. Not a big deal, but they took up 6 minutes, drove 60 yards. That's great. You don't want to see that, but I think we're going to start to rotate some guys in on defense. You started to see that too in the second half. Sam McCall come in, Sirius Thomas. You're starting to see some of those defensive backs get rotated in, because it is a deep room. Now with that, Florida State gets into field goal range. Like you said in the first half, they were kind of hesitant to pursue some of those with Ryan Fitzgerald, and they give him the chance now, and he misses it. He misses the field goal. I'm sorry. We score. It wasn't a field goal attempt. It was a touchdown. That's where I'm getting mixed up. We score a touchdown. We drive the ball after they score on us, which is great. But he misses the extra point. I thought in the first half he was shanking the extra points the entire time. It looked like they were just coming in. And finally, when he gets the chance in the second half, his first one of the second half, he misses that one. There's just something. And I think, in my mind, that solidified Coach Mike's opinion that if we're in kind of a no man's land or close to it, if we're in the 45 to 55 range and it's 4th and 4, 4th and 5, I'd rather have the ball in Jordan Travis's hands than in my kicker's on my kicker's foot because I want to give it my skilled guys, my most skilled guys, the ball to convert. And right now, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not one of the most skilled guys on this team. He's in a rut. He's got the yips. He does not have the confidence that you need in the kicker because this stuff, whether it's a missed extra point, this wasn't even blocked. It was just shanked. And whether it's this or a missed field goal like it was last week, this is going to cost you a game, whether it be against Clemson, Wake Forest, Syracuse, who looks really good right now. These things are going to add up. And so I was surprised they didn't start to address it tonight where they don't really have a backup kicker, which is, I think, is a walk-on. So this is something that's going to need to be addressed. I hope the media brings it up, but this extra point is going to come up this week. I hope it comes up this week because that's part of the special teams needs to be addressed. But like I said, Florida State scores on the Trayshawn Ward, run, which is great.
I want to add to this kicking thing since we're on it. I've got extensive notes on that, so I might as well throw it in here now.
Yeah,
I totally agree. Coach Mike's always talking about cleaning up stuff. Well, this is a mess. This kicking thing is a mess.
Yeah,
okay, and we're not going to sugarcoat it. Ryan Fitzgerald, I'm sure, is a lovely guy, but he's in a psychological issue now. Just like I've said before in golf, if anybody out there plays golf, you can't pull the putter back, you can't pull the club back. Because it's intricate. It's an intricate game. Well, he's in an intricate kicking situation now. Yeah. And I'm not sure that Coach Mike helped his confidence by going for fourth down on some of these plays. We're already up 21 points. Wait a minute. Well, I'm just saying, whatever. We're up 21 points. There was a situation where he could have kicked the field goal and say, I'm going to put this kid out there and see if he can make it. I'm not going to lose this game. This game was never in jeopardy. So I want to see if I could put this kid out there with no pressure on him, and see if he can make something between 35 and 45 yards. And Coach Mike decided not to do that. I'm not sure if that helped the kid or hurt the kid. That's a big question. And if I was in the media there talking to Coach Mike in the presser, I would ask exactly that question. I want to see, and I'm going to review what the media asked Coach Mike about the kicking game and his decisions. I think that's going to be very interesting. Or if the media tiptoes around this or tiptoes around it. Yeah. All right. So let me say that
I just don't think you can predicate your decision making based on the feelings of your kicker.
Okay. Well, I'm not. Well, wait a minute. Let me back this up a little bit. First of all, congratulations to Ryan Fitzgerald on his kickoffs. They were excellent. A+. Every one of them went into the end zone that I saw, and I marked them down. Okay, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. He wasn't shanking them. He wasn't shanking them out. He wasn't trying to get cute with them. They cleaned that piece up. That piece has been cleaned up.
Good.
The extra point was a terrible miss. And the other ones, like you said, they're not going down the middle. They're shanking off. There's something not right there. And, he made one field goal, right? He had one field goal, the 30-yarder. That was it. Because then Coach Mike took the ball off his foot for the rest of those.
Yeah.
So it is an issue. We can debate it further as we go on, but I believe you're right. We're going to lose a game because of a missed field goal or lack of confidence to put him in, go for fourth down and not get it. That could happen so how they're going to, now the question is, how do you clean this up?
You hold kicking tryouts this week.
Will you hold kicking tryouts?
If you have a walk-on, which I believe they do, all the media says, we hear, Ryan's been knocking him through during practice, so I truly believe that if there was a better option right now, they would go with the better option.
They don't have a better option.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Either the other guy just sucks in practice, or like you said,
he doesn't want to give up. He doesn't want to give up on Ryan yet. He doesn't want to give up on him because he knows if he does, it's over for Ryan. You might as well tell him to go into the portal, okay? But the thing is,
I guarantee they'll be in the portal after this year.
This goes back to my point. When we were up 21 points and there were opportunities there, instead of going for the fourth down, put him out there and see if he can make some kicks. What a better game to practice in. What a better game to practice.
At the same time, I'd rather be practicing a 4th and 4, because those instances where you're in a tight game.
Well, this wasn't a tight game. This game was never in doubt. It was never a question.
Then why are you practicing tight field goals then? Because it's not a tight game. They don't matter.
Because if he can't go out there and kick it from that yardage in a game like this, he's not going to kick it in a close game. It's a 50-50 cent.
He couldn't kick him last week. We know he can't kick him.
All right. Okay.
So if he makes one this week, he's back. He's
no. Nothing is ever back. Florida State isn't back. A kicker isn't back. Tate isn't back after one game. It's all about consistency over a period of time.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking that moving forward, that they would rather have it in their skilled position players' hands than Ryan Fitzpatrick, because his percentage for the year is not good.
Well, that's a decision, and there are consequences in all decisions.
Oh, I'd rather put it in George Travis' hands than in the foot of.
I tweeted out, we need that guy from Syracuse, but he's going on to the NFL after this.
They need the kid from Wake Forest. No, the Wake Forest guy made 17 straight. The guy from Wake Forest made like 17 straight. And once again, Wake Forest can find these kids out of nowhere. And they had another NFL kicker They had another NFL kicker. They just find these guys.
Their personnel system is unbelievable, really is. Okay, so enough on the kicking. That needs to be cleaned up. That is the biggest thing that needs to be cleaned up coming out of this game tonight.
Yeah. So going out of the third quarter, Florida State scores 10 points. Once again, I would have liked, you're rotating guys out, but I would have liked the offense to, close out the third a little bit stronger with more than, 10 points.
Would you have wanted Jordan Travis to stay in there longer?
I mean, I would have liked him to close out the third.
I would have never. No, I wouldn't have done that.
I would have liked to see. I know it's not. I love the Trayshawn Ward running touchdown. One, because you had backup offensive linemen in there.
Yeah, 22-yard run for a touchdown.
And we were struggling, and I tweeted this out. We were struggling with some run blocking, I felt like, in the second quarter and into the third quarter. And I think it was because, A, we have some injuries, but B, we're rotating some guys through. But that breakthrough run was amazing, because you had Julian Armella on that left side, and that's the side that broke through that touchdown. It was a great run. So I'm glad to see that happen, and it gives confidence to those young freshman linemen that are getting some playing time in a game like this. Those are quality reps. So I'm glad to see stuff like that. So, given that, you only scored 10 points in the quarter, but there was a great way to end the quarter once again. And then we head into the fourth. With that, you have once again you have the Trey Benson touchdown, which is another great run. The guy he's just a monster. He has the speed to. I think that was the one actually where they had some of the backups in with Armella broke the hole for him on the left side, but he just runs down the sidelines and you just can't stop him with that breakaway speed. So I was glad to see that happen. Once again, you score 7 points there, and then BC comes down, scores on you, but you get Tate Rodemaker in there. I thought he made on that play on that drive where Benson scored. I think it was a third down. He had to stand in there again and make a tough throw. And you have that connection. Once again, they convert to Micah Pittman on, I think it was for 10 or 15 yards, but it was a tight window, got it to Pittman. He stood in the pocket when it was collapsing on him, converted, and then a couple of plays later, Benson scores on a 33-yard run. So I thought it was great. Tate, I don't know if it's because I'm seeing him differently or he's playing with more confidence, but I mean, he was 3 for 3 tonight. He didn't make any stupid plays. He didn't turn the ball over. He came in. He did what he needed to do. They close out with the win. So I think that was good to see that he came in there with confidence. He made that scramble. He did the run option where he handed it off, or he didn't hand it off. He kept it and ran for 15 yards for the conversion. Those are things that I don't know if we necessarily see Tate do last year. I think his confidence is building, which is great for a backup. You want to see that confidence build in someone like that. But this, once again, this may be rose-colored glasses from last week that I'm seeing him in a different light. But I'm glad the way that he played in just limited time. So
put the if you can you put the total stats package up?
Yeah.
I mean the total stats, and I agree with a lot what you said there. Tate came in because I wanted to see Tate play because
they weren't going to pass at that
media,
point.
No. But the media, I love the media, how we're part of it. I guess we're part of that chaos, and the media loves to hype this is back or this guy's a hero or so on after one game or one performance. And it's not true. It's not true. And then fans have this pedestal look at everything after one game instead of looking at over a trend of history. So the bottom line is Tate came in at about 3 minutes left in the third of the third quarter. And I thought that was appropriate. When there was 3:31 left in the third quarter, I thought he should have come in a little bit earlier, to be honest with you. I probably would have brought him in around the start of the second half. Now, I'm about developing players. Okay. The game was 37-7. Okay. When he comes into the game, I mean, it wasn't even close. Develop the players. Okay. Enough said on that. He comes in, he doesn't do anything embarrassing to the team or to himself. He managed the game. Okay. But, his true test will come when Jordan needs that help again at some point down the road. Because hopefully in the next few games, the next 3 or 4 games, these games are going to be close. They're going to be real close.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tate's probably not going to play unless Jordan goes down.
We hope
that's how that's going to work.
Yeah.
AJ Duffy cleaned up. Rodney Hill got in there. They cleaned up, and that was pretty much the end of the game.
Once again, they scored one more time, but I think the big thing there in the second half when you're playing backups and stuff like that is, you didn't commit any turnovers, right? Nobody fumbled the ball. No one, Tate didn't commit a turnover. Duffy didn't come in, fumble the snap, throw a turnover.
No, there wasn't any of that.
There was clean, which
is
what
was
you
clean.
want.
How many penalties did we have? What was the penalties?
I don't know.
I know we had a big one up front on Gibbons.
One. We had one penalty.
We had that. We only had one.
One accepted penalty.
Okay, that was the one on Gibbons on the big run, or pass, or Ontario Wilson or somebody. Who was it on the big run?
Yeah, I think Trayshawn took the ball. Yeah,
Trayshawn hated to lose all those yards, like 50, 60 yards.
Yeah.
It was a great run, and that got wiped out. But you're exactly right. We didn't see a lot of sloppiness here. I don't care if you're up 50 points as a coach. You don't want to see sloppy, undisciplined play. I didn't see that tonight.
No,
I thought they played winning football tonight. Did we turn the ball over? We didn't turn the ball over.
And we caused turnovers, which is a big thing that we haven't. I don't think we did it. We didn't do a lot at Louisville. Oh well, other than the kickoffs and stuff like that. But no, I think you forced turnovers was great. You got Mario Cooper got one early, which is great. We weren't able to really convert off that, but. And then Greedy Vance got one. Yeah, so you were able to do the opposite. You were able to contain yourself from committing costly turnovers, but you're able to cause them as well. You're able to put pressure. The line causes pressure, and then you get to enter the secondary plays well. So yeah, I thought it was all around. And then you're averaging almost 8 yards per play, like the yardage average gain. You're playing explosive football, and
in most cases, you can look at numbers of a game. You don't even have to watch the game, and you can look at the statistics of a game, and it will tell you. You can pretty much predict who won the game because of the turnover factor, the low penalty factor, and the
And I'm sorry, my penalties are wrong. I don't know why this has it sorted like this. I knew there was more than one penalty. Okay. So it looks like we had 7 for 59.
That's not bad. That's not bad. 7 is a lot. 7 is a lot, but the 59 doesn't hurt you too bad. The one big one hurts you. If that was a big game, it would have hurt us big.
Especially if they're like the 15-yarders. Those are the things that really.
But they played a clean, disciplined game. That's it.
You didn't have a lot of holding penalties that brought plays back. That's the biggest thing that I think we struggled with in past seasons. That someone break off a big play and then it's holding. You're coming back for 10 yards.
So other than that, it was kind of a boring game, but it was a boring big win, and I'll take those every week.
Yeah,
I'll get bored every week. I'm good with that. I don't want to be bored. I don't want to be bored getting blown out. But I'm telling you right now, and that's pretty much the game. I mean, I had a bunch of people, names here I wanted to say, and it's about the whole defense. They played so well. I mean, all those young guys that came in there played so well.
Yeah, they totally shut down BC. It was one of the more dominating ACC performances, I think, in a while.
Yeah, the names of all the guys that stepped up to take over for some of the injured guys. I mean, guys like Dennis Briggs played a great game. Deloach is unbelievable. Yeah, now, Deloach, I don't know if he's going to be big enough to play at the next level, but he's big enough and strong enough and aggressive enough to play on special teams till he does get bigger. Yeah. He can run. This guy can run.
He tracks really, and he tracks people really well.
He tracks well. He takes great angles. Yeah. Deloach had a great game. Everybody stepped up. McClendon, another guy, stepped up. Farmer was in there playing a lot of ball.
Yeah.
It is great to see these young guys, not only when the game's on the line, but when you do get some breathing room to sub them in. And that wears people down. And it keeps these guys' interest in the game at practice next week because you're getting their uniforms dirty. And that's a good thing.
Well, and I think, the announcers kind of brought it up, but you're seeing that guys who work hard on special teams get those opportunities. And I think, work hard in practice and work hard on special teams. Mike Norvell comes to the school of thought of, I'm going to put talented players on special teams, right? So whether you're a freshman, whether you're a veteran, whether you're Brandon Gant, who, kind of fell behind the last couple of seasons, got caught up in, other coaching staffs and stuff like that. But now you're starting to see him make plays on defense too. Yeah, right. So it's, these guys have stuck around and fought and bought in, and now they're starting to get dividends from it. And that's another example of Williamson too. This guy you don't hear much about.
Did he start? It's like he started.
What I'm thinking is that
he had like the first catch of the game.
But if you practice, can I get to my point? What I'm thinking is that the philosophy is if you practice hard, you play hard, you do all the things we ask of you. We're gonna get you the ball because it seemed to me watching the game there was a concerted effort to get him the ball because they were throwing him screens, they were targeting him with it seemed intentionality. It wasn't just like, oh, he's the guy that's open. They were trying to get him the ball, and it paid off because they knew that Johnny was going to be double covered. And they picked him because there's something that they saw in him this week that they would say, you're the guy this week. And it paid off. So I'm glad. And I think that's the culture saying is that you bring it every day. We're going to find a way to get you the ball this week.
Okay. Quick shout out. I found my notes on the defensive guys. Jarrett Jackson. Yes, shout out. Yeah. Kevin Deloach, Derek McClendon, Dennis Briggs, Patrick Payton.
Yeah.
Patrick Payton, young guy. He was mentioned even by the TV announcers as stepping up. Bethune again,
I love him.
Azaria Thomas was out there. Joshua Farmer was out there. Even Amari Gaynor, who was I thought he was on the injured list. He was out there playing just a little bit.
And Shaheem Brown had a big sack. He came from the secondary for a blitz package.
Brandon Gant, as you mentioned, Sam McCall. They all got a piece of the action. Because I'll guarantee you, if you're not getting a little piece of the action, you're wondering what your future is.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot, and it's great because you're seeing a lot of a blending of veterans with young guys, and they're starting to come together. And you're seeing a mixture of it, which is great. And so a lot of these young guys who had to get experience last year because you had to get them to play are now it's paying off. Now I think that experience level is paying. And when you can get guys like Sam McCall in this game tonight, it's going to pay off. He got beat a little bit at the end there on that touchdown, but these reps are going to these mental reps and these physical reps.
He hasn't played.
No, exactly. Played. And this is why it matters to get him into these games like this. So I'm glad that they're rotating guys, and he'll step up next time. So I'm glad. But I don't think there's, like you said, too much more to say. Dominating performance by the defense. Trey Benson got to break the rock tonight. So if you're on Twitter, you'll probably see that video.
That's great. That's great. He deserves it.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, I'm really glad to see a guy who's fought back. Once again, one of those guys that, Florida State was being made fun of because we wasted a scholarship on a guy with a bum leg, and now look at the guy. The guy's going to be a stud. I'm really
and we're not going to get into it tonight because this is just our reaction to the game. It's a good reaction. We're 4-0. This team is growing in confidence. And the biggest thing we have to clean up right now, here we go. Oh wow, what a great picture that is! Look at that.
So good.
Look at that. We've taken guys out of the portal, basically guys that had to be rehabbed, rehab mentally and physically. Mentally and physically rehab. And I have to say that Florida State and their off-field people in player development, player acquisition, let's just say it that way, have done a great job, and they're working every day behind the scenes to identify people, to get people in here. We're not going to get into the two commit. Well, we can say the two commitments we had. Blake Nicholson, 4-star out of California, linebacker out of California. We went into California and reached the kid and bringing him in, Blake Nicholson. And then we've got Hakeem Williams out of South Florida, a 4 or 5-star. I don't give a shit.
He's a top 100 player.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's a great player. These guys are coming in now and are going to help this football team. They're going to help this football. Yes, they're verbal commitments. You know how I feel about verbal commitments. We've got to work hard to keep them in the system. This game keeps them in the system. Okay. The next 4 games are going to be crucial to keeping commitments alive. Okay. To keeping commitments alive, because the commitment we used to know doesn't mean as much as it used to be. Okay. The future now is about, is your team winning? Am I going to play? And what's the NIL like? Okay. But these guys are committed, and we're glad to have them. Welcome to the family at that regard.
And a couple of milestones tonight. So tonight, Greedy Vance had his first career interception.
Yeah.
So congrats to him. And Kentron Portier, his touchdown was his first of his career as well.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
So congrats to them once again. Guys like transfer portal, young guys stepping up, which is what you want to see. This is how you take, if you don't have the talent always available to you, whether it's transfer portal, whether it's development, this is how you do it, and this is how you do it within this.
Well, here's an exciting thing too about these receivers, and especially receivers you're trying to get out of the portal or you're trying to recruit out of high school. They're starting to see we throw the ball now.
Yeah,
he had over 350 yards tonight, over 300 yards.
And
you know what's good about Jordan is he's willing to stay there in the pocket. He wants to throw the ball.
Well, because he can finally trust his offensive line to keep him upright, and that's what you didn't have with Blackman. You didn't have that with Francois. No. So you couldn't give your receivers time to get open. And
get open.
And Jordan couldn't. There's such a 9-day difference between the way Jordan played this year versus last year, and that's a whole other segment.
There's a lot of confidence.
But like you said, they are willing to spread around the ball, and now with teams having to account for Johnny Wilson on the other side of the field, players on the team are going to have the chance to be open. They're going to get one-on-one matchups. So you have to make the most of those matchups, because 6-7 over there is going to get double covered. So it's your time to step up. So whether you're
that's right.
If you're 5th or 6th on this roster, you're going to have your chance to shine on this team, just like you saw with Darion Williamson tonight. So you can't. Yeah. So I love it. So final score 44-14. Florida State wins in dominating fashion at home with a sold-out crowd. They just announced next week Wake Forest will be at 3:30. So that kickoff just got announced. So which is good. It's in the middle of the day. I'm glad about that. These 8 p.m., 9 p.m. games are just.
No, but you know what? If you're at the stadium, you love the 8 p.m. game.
Well,
you love the 8 p.m. game because it's a different experience in the night. Trust me.
Yeah, I know.
And you've been there. You've been there, and we've both been. It's a great experience.
But as people are saying, there could be that hurricane on Thursday into Friday, which. So we'll be tracking that on Thursday's show or on Wednesday's show. That hurricane could
I'll let you know how
cancellation. Yeah, so keep us
right in the eye.
Yeah, keep us tracked on that, because that is a potential issue for that game. So could FSU? We'll talk about that on next show. But 3:30.
I think it'll be gone by then. It's supposed to blow in here like Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday, and out. Florida State will practice indoors if they have to or whatever. I don't think it's going to even be around for the weekend, to be honest. We'll see.
All right. Well, we'll do that breakdown. That'll be a tough game, but we'll talk about that next week.
Now in the season, you're 4-0 in your predictions.
Yeah. So I am on my predictions. I believe I am. Let's pull them up right here. So I am. Yeah, I'm perfect so far. But now this is where we go into the red area where I had predicted 3 straight losses, which. I think these games are going to be monumentally tough for us. Even based on what I've seen so far, I think we have a good team, but we have we went through the easy part of our schedule and we got banged up through it. We've sustained more injuries than I could have imagined. But also we're going to get some players back. We haven't even seen this offense with Winston Wright yet. So that addition could make some noise, but I think our defense is more banged up than I would like to see before we play probably three of the best quarterbacks we'll see all season, right? So, I'm 4-0. I still stand by my predictions. I would love to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I literally hope I'm wrong. For you, on Trent, you're 3-1 so far.
Yeah.
We both had this game. You have us winning next week, so we'll break that down next week. See us on Wednesday, y'all. We'll have the schedule up 8:30 Wednesday night. We'll break down Wake Forest to a longer recap of this game. And until then, follow us on Twitter, like the video, and subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates and alerts. Thanks y'all for the time, and we'll see you soon.
I want to wear these every victory.
Every victory. See y'all.